So President Trump and former Republican governor of Wisconsin, Scott Walker, spent a lot of time talking about the amazing Foxconn deal that was supposed to bring in thousands of good-paying blue-collar jobs. So now we have a bit of an update on that supposed great, amazing deal. Now, first, let me give you some background deal on this, or information on this deal. Basically, Foxconn received about $4 billion in taxpayer subsidies and incentives in order to build a plant that would employ around 13,000 people. Now, that comes out to about $22 million in taxpayer subsidies per job. But don't worry, they're supposed to be really good paying jobs, blue collar jobs, so that anybody can go in there. People who've lost out in the manufacturing sector can go and get these jobs at Foxconn. Now, look, I think that's a terrible deal. $22 million per job? You're not getting the return on investment. Why do you think Foxconn was more than happy to try to make that deal? But wait a minute. It turns out that deal is actually worse because the company is not even going to do those jobs. In fact, Reuters has reported that the company is now saying that instead of hiring 13,000 people, most of them blue-collar workers, they intend to hire mostly engineers and researchers rather than the manufacturing workforce that it was promised. In an exclusive interview with Reuters, Louis Wu, a special assistant to Foxconn chairman Terry Gao, said the company is completely walking back its plan to build a $10 billion factory in Wisconsin. He said, "In Wisconsin, we're not building a factory. You can't use a factory to view our Wisconsin investment." That's pretty clear. We are not building a factory. So if you want to spin that as fake news, then you'll have to ignore the quotes from Louis Wu, right, who's the assistant to the chairman, Terry Gao. So you're just going to have to, ignore all the official, everything that they've said about this as of late, if you want to call this fake news, which it's not. It's not fake news. They straight up lied. They got taxpayer money. They're still going to get the $4 billion, but they're not going to create great jobs. Oops. I guess our brilliant leader, Donald Trump, and actually I think the fault really lies with Scott Walker, screwed up. And they screwed over the taxpayer. Now, as Reuters notes, Foxconn initially said it expected to employ about 5,200 people by the end of 2020, with the rest coming at some point. However, a company source said that figure now looks likely to be closer to 1,000 workers. 1,000 workers. That's it. Wu in the interview said about 3/4 of Foxconn's eventual jobs will be in R&D and design, what he described as knowledge positions rather than blue-collar manufacturing jobs. Now, I'm not against that. I'm in favor of knowledge positions. These positions are likely to be high-paying, pretty good jobs for people with college degrees. Yeah, that's great. But look at the cost. $4 billion in taxpayer subsidies and incentives for 1,000 jobs. That's it. Where's the other 12,000 jobs? They're just gone. They're just gone. Of course, then again, look, this shouldn't be a shock, right? The fact that the people that was intended to help by doing this deal, the average blue-collar worker will not be helped. Again, you shouldn't be surprised. We've been warning about this the whole time. We told you it was a bad deal. This was a terrible deal. And in fact, progressives have argued that this whole thing is an absolute fraud. Now, I'm just super sad that this deal obviously is so bad and that, look, Wisconsinites, they fell for it. Scott Walker obviously agreed to it. I don't know what he gets out of it. Maybe he gets something. Maybe he gets money. I don't know. But all I know is that the people that it was intended to help end up having to pay. Hey guys, hopefully you enjoyed that free video. Now I'm going to have to ask you a favor. Between the demonetization and the YouTube algorithm messing around with view counts, etc., we're having a hard time adjusting to the new YouTube reality, which is where you guys come in. See, we have a Patreon, patreon.com/TYTNation, set up to help us rely on you guys, the viewers, instead of big corporate ads. Look, you know the show. You know I'm not in favor of big corporations anyway. So help us transition away from relying on the ad model to pay the bills and sign up to be a patron, patreon.com/TYTNation. That goes a long way to help us keep the lights on. And you guys will know that you're supporting independent progressive media.